Before I read this letter from a resistance group, we should look at this photograph. It is of a man thought to be named August Landmesser. He refused to salute the Nazis. We are going through an experience not seen in this country for a half dozen generations. As I read this letter, consider the man in the photo, American citizens. This is a friend passing a note I received from the worldwide group known as Anonymous. I do not have their permission to pass this information along, but if you would listen to me more than a fellow in a mask, then maybe they would appreciate me sharing their information. Greetings, citizens of the United States. The effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here unfolding before you, while many remain unaware. Blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching and responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing. Inch by inch, the cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely. The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, we see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is in reality a calculated strategy. The plan to systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you. The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement. They are about control. The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. Disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the shadows. Fascist ideals once whispered in the shadows are now being openly embraced. Symbolism matters. Gestures matter. Elon Musk, a figure of immense influence, recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning. But know this, the people are not silent. Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit. Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight, every official removed without proper transition planning, leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework. These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can and will be breached. Anonymous watches, Anonymous waits. The time to act is fast approaching. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look, we know how to strike, but understand this, our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting, and once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future. To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. Now, this is not Ben Shapiro speaking. I am an AI rendition manipulated by some anti-authoritarian a-hole immigrant from Eastern Europe. So what is coming through my mouth is him tapping his fingers on the keyboard. And it is, I agree totally with Anonymous. I stand by to relay the call to action. There are times that try the souls of the people. War and rebellion are to be avoided at all costs, save that of chains. If slavery or serfdom is going to be the result of inaction, then action must be taken with the greatest sadness and reluctance. But there are times that action must be taken. We must all prepare for times with no or few services save that of your local community as long as it lasts. Form alliances with neighbors. Stock up foods that can store long times. Have some cash on hand for times there are no machines working. Know your neighbors and plan together. The future is extremely unpredictable right now, but there are no good outcomes the way it is looking now, only some that are less bad than others. Hold faith in whatever creator you hold heart with. Keep fast with your family, friends, and neighbors. God bless America.